Hi everyone, welcome to the first in a three-part series on running for newbies. And by newbies I mean people that are either new to running or they're new to the idea of running as a hobby or taking it a bit more seriously, getting into racing, things like that. So without further ado, let's go. So for the first part of this series, I wanted to look at kit and everything from shoes through to clothing through to accessories. And actually that's one of the reasons that I've been inspired to do this. So one of the things I've noticed recently with a lot of people out running, especially around London, weirdly, is there seems to be an explosion of kit and stuff that's more akin to the ultra scene. So I've personally done 3 ultra marathons, probably going to do more. And I should preface that by saying I'm not serious. I'm not looking to win anything. It's just a hobby. It's something I enjoy. Obviously, I do work with some pretty serious runners, and the majority of that is track and field, middle distance. However, one thing I'm seeing loads of, and this really I find quite funny to be honest with you, is the explosion of, excuse me, this is a new one because mine fell apart, but loads of these things. So a lot of people wearing ultra vests when they're running. Okay, so that's just a Solomon example. Water bottles in the front. I've recently switched to them because I used to use hydration pouch quite a lot, and that's actually what burst on me, which was fun. You don't need it unless you're going to be doing something seriously long, some kind of ultra, something without a place to get a drink, rest stations, or really long training runs when it's really hot. So if you're doing a 5K in March, it's a waste of time. So all you're going to do is slow yourself down, essentially. You're just carrying weight for the sake of weight. And not only that, in that time, if you're running for like less than an hour, the water bottles, they're not going to make any difference really to your hydration levels that you'll notice. If you're dehydrated and you're feeling dehydrated, that's because you haven't drank enough before the run or in the 24 hours leading up to the run. So really, what people are not doing, in my opinion, is concentrating on before and after, and they're just so focusing on during because it's cool, which sure it is, okay, but it's a waste of space if you're not going to do anything long. Obviously, ultras are useful. 5K, 10K, don't bother. And also as well, by having the space, what you normally find is you'll use it. So you'll put things in there you don't need. There'll be your phone will be in there. You'll have spare clothes, gels, which we'll talk about another time, snacks, all kinds of stuff that you're just not going to need in that time. If it's a case of having somewhere to carry your phone, I appreciate a lot of shorts, etc., don't have appropriate pockets. These are quite good. So this is again a Solomon one. Little belt. It's essentially slightly cooler bum bag, I guess. Fits really close to the body. Okay, and you've got a little pocket there, big enough for phone and keys, and really that's all you're going to need for the majority of runs. In terms of footwear, what we are often seeing now is people going kind of the top end of the market, similar to like when cycling really took off. People are buying carbon-plated shoes, £200-300 shoes that it's not going to make the difference for you as a recreational runner. Okay, it'll make you faster, sure, but it'll also increase your chance of injury. So really, shoes are very good now. Any kind of EVA foam-based shoe is going to be good for most people. That's a New Balance Fuel Cell Rebel. It's V3, I think. Really, really light, really good, soft, reactive base. Okay, and it's a neutral shoe. So for the majority of people, that's absolutely fine, and it will do you really well. If, like me, you do a lot of trail running, you can go to that kind of extreme end of kind of mud claws and things like that, real trail shoes. But something like this, and it is dirty because I have just been for a run. As you can see, apologies. That is a Nike Pegasus Trail, Gore-Tex, and I think it's a 3 or a 4. I can't remember. There's millions now, but these are my staple shoes. So they're a road to trail shoe. So essentially, the idea is you can use them on the road, but primarily trails. They haven't got huge talons on the bottom, okay, but they are grippy. So they're really, really good for the majority of trail runs that aren't super boggy, super slippy. So they're my everyday shoe. I have orthotic insoles as well, which live in there. And it's a very neutral shoe, and it's quite wide as well, which is nice. The next thing, which I think often gets missed within your shoes, is these things. So your socks. So going from kind of left to right, really. So I have a selection. The majority of my runs that aren't that long, okay, I'm going to use something pretty basic. That's just literally your everyday trainer sock. That's a Nike one, I think. Doesn't matter so much. The reason I don't go for anything real serious for the majority of runs is because I actually want my feet to get a little bit tougher. So A lot of people, again, taking inspiration from the ultra world, will do things like zinc oxide tape on their feet where they get hot spots. They might put Vaseline on there, double socks, that kind of stuff, which is all great if you're doing a race or you're doing something really long. But in training, you kind of, similar to the philosophy of not having ice baths straight after a run when you're trying to get fitter, you don't want to blunt that response. And that actually goes for your feet too, in my opinion. I think you should be trying to get those feet a little bit tougher. So on the shorter, regular runs that you're not really going to get blisters, any old sock will do. When it comes to race and training, race and longer stuff, any kind of half marathon distance and up for me, but individual distances obviously for you. These are the Innovate Race Elites. For me, they're really good. They're a great sock that helps prevent blisters on very long runs. A lot of people use Hilly Twin Skins as well, which I've used multiple times in the past, and they essentially have a thin sock inside a thicker sock. Very, very good. For me, I just find that they rip eventually kind of around the big toe, which probably just means I'm tight and I need to buy more. Beyond that, guys, I think really the only other thing you need to think about is clothing. Essentially, that really does come down to personal preference. All I would say is it's worth investing in something kind of good in terms of shorts. So these New Balance ones, for example, pretty basic. They've got a little pocket there for your keys, and they have, for the guys, netting inside. So without getting too vulgar, really helps prevent chafing. If you're doing anything long or it's raining and you get wet and you get that fabric sticking to your skin, that just helps to prevent any kind of regular abrasion, which will give you sore spots. Beyond that, guys, I think that's all you're going to need and you're good to go. Any questions, hit me up in the comments.